with no regret. Even if I had to undergo immense sufferings in the 3 bad destinies or among men, I would resolutely seek Buddhahood, and never depart from this resolve. Then the fictive Brahmin said, Master of generosity patron, it is good, it is very good. Then seek to become Buddha. And he added this stanza of praise. The power of your exertion is great, you have compassion for all beings. Your wisdom is free of hindrances, you will become Buddha before long. Then the gods rained down flowers to worship the bodhisattva. As for the suddhavasika gods who had blocked up velamas vase so that the water did not flow out, they had hidden themselves and disappeared. Then the bodhisattva went to the brahmin who was the oldest of all those who had been invited and, with his golden vase, wanted to pour the water over him, meaning to transfer full ownership over all the benefits that he was distributing to the brahmin by means of this libation. But the water was blocked and did not flow out. The crowd was astonished. All kinds of great gifts have been prepared and the virtues of the patron are also great. Then why does not the water flow out? The bodhisattva said, It is not their fault. Was not my mind impure? Have I not kept something back that I should have given? Why is this happening to me? He consulted the treatises on sacrifice and the 16 volumes and he saw that his purity was faultless. Then the gods said to the bodhisattva, Don't worry. There is nothing that you have not planned for. The fault is with these bad impure brahmins whom you wish to gratify. Then the gods spoke this stanza. In men, the net of wrong views and passions have destroyed right knowledge. Having wandered away from pure morality, these wretches will fall into various bad destinies. This is why, they added, the water that you wanted to pour over their hands is blocked and does not flow. Having said this, they suddenly disappeared. At that moment, the 6 classes of gods of the realm of desire shone rays of light of all kinds and lit up the assembly. Addressing themselves to the bodhisattva, they spoke this stanza. Wandering in the ocean of evil, they are not following your straight path. Of those who receive your gifts, there is no one like you. Having said this, they suddenly disappeared. Hearing this stanza, the bodhisattva had this thought. In this assembly is there really nobody who is my equal, and is that why the water is blocked and does not flow? And he spoke this stanza. In the universes of the 10 directions, if there are marvelous pure beings, I take refuge in them and I bow down to them holding the vase in my right hand. I pour the water into my left hand. And I take the vow to be the only man who is worthy to receive such great gifts. But once the water in the vase rose up into space and, falling from above, poured into the bodhisattva's left hand. Seeing this wonder, King Vasava felt great respect and spoke this stanza. Great master of brahmins, water the color of pure beryl flowing down from above, has fallen into your hand. Filled with respect and joining their hands as a sign of homage, the great assembly took refuge in the bodhisattva. Then the bodhisattva spoke this stanza. The gifts that I make today do not have as the goal the merits of the threefold world. They are for the benefit of all beings, and in order to seek for Buddhahood. When he had said this, the great earth, the mountains, the rivers and the trees trembled in 6 different ways. At the beginning, Velama had given alms to the assembly of Brahmins with the idea that they were worthy of receiving his homage. Afterwards, when he had understood that this assembly were unworthy, it was out of compassion and no longer from respect, that he gave them gifts that they had already received. Jatakas and avadanas of this type relating to all kinds of gifts could be cited at length here. Those are outer gifts, but what are inner gifts? 4. Inner generosity. Inner generosity consists of giving one's life to others without any regret, as is told in the Jatakas and avadanas. 1. The king who set fire to his body so as to hear a Buddhist stanza. The Buddha Sakyamuni was once a bodhisattva. At one time when he was the king of a great country, there was neither Buddha nor Dharma nor Sangha of monks. Having gone forth 4 times to seek the Buddhist Dharma, the king understood that he would not find it. A Brahmin said to the king, "I know a stanza of the Buddha. If you pay homage to me, I will give it to you." The king asked, "What homage do you want?" The Brahmin replied, "If you give the upper part of your body and cut the flesh into the shape of a wick and pay homage to me with it, I will surely give you the stanza." The king said to himself, "My body is fragile and impure. From one lifetime to the next, it experiences innumerable sufferings. On the other hand, the Buddhist Dharma is a rare thing. Today when I am beginning to be able to use it, why should I regret its loss?" Having thought thus, he called on outcast who cut the upper part of his body, made a wick out of it, bound his flesh with white cotton and poured oil over it. At once the king's body burst into flame and the Brahmin gave him the stanza. 2. Jataka of the pigeon. The Buddha was once a pigeon living in the snow mountains. On stormy day, a man lost his way. Miserable and exhausted, hunger and cold had brought him to his last moments. Seeing this man, the pigeon flew to look for fire, collected some kindling and lit it. Then the pigeon threw itself into the fire and gave its body to the famished man. In the same way, the bodhisattva gave his head, his eyes, his marrow and his skull to beings. It would be necessary to list fully the various Jatakas and Avadana Sutras here. All of that is called inner generosity. The immensity of these inner and outer gifts is the nature of generosity. End chapter 19.